Welcome to BT Podcasts. In this episode, what does it take for SMEs to compete with better resourced large corporations? What kind of partnerships would help them? We find out with financial services company Payoneer and digital platform Sleek. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Payoneer.
The intricacies of cross-border growth for SMEs has always seemed challenging to grasp, but maybe there are secrets to seamless global expansion, and strategic partnerships could be it. Today we speak to financial services company Payoneer and digital platform Sleek for advice and tips on how to conquer the world. This is BT Podcast by the Business Times. I'm Howie Lim. And joining us are Julien Labruyere, CEO of Sleek, and Ian Dorrity, Director of Affiliate and Partnership at Payoneer. Gentlemen, hello.
Good morning, Howie.
Good morning, Howie.
Ian, give us your one-line elevator pitch, I suppose, for Payoneer's role in the ASEAN SME space.
I would say Payoneer is a comprehensive financial platform that levels the playing field for underserved SMEs across the region. Think of us as a global business bank that gives small companies the same financial tools, service, and reach that multinational corporations enjoy. So we serve customers, be it Vietnamese B2B manufacturers that want to expand by incorporating in Singapore, or e-commerce sellers in the region that need multi-currency accounts to reach the US or European markets. We make it happen for them in a matter of hours and not weeks with the support that they need along the way.
Julien, head back to the time before you partnered up with Payoneer, and would you have taken his elevator pitch? What first drew you to Payoneer?
What first drew us to Payoneer was very simple and yet important challenge, which was managing our distributed workforce globally. So we have been fast expanding. We have now 600 staff across probably 20 odd countries. And in many cases, we don't have a banking relationship. We don't have a local company or legal entity on the ground. And so Payoneer has been very helpful in helping us get all our staff paid on time with a lot of efficiency, which is a very boring problem. But if you're on the receiving end in the Philippines, our staff definitely need their salary to be paid on time each and every month. And just simple things like that, when you're dealing with traditional financial infrastructure, it's very challenging, very time consuming for my HR staff doing it. And so that was really the very acute problem we had. And we were happy to partner with Payoneer for that.
What about some specific pain points that Sleek managed to solve in a partnership with Payoneer?
We hire someone in India or Vietnam. This is a great contractor. We don't have a legal entity. How do we get the legal employee-employer relationship started? So Payoneer acquired a company called Squad, which we had been using before as an employer of record. So they have a legal entity. They can sign a contract. We tell them the terms, like this is the salary, this is the everything that's needed to draft an employment contract under Vietnamese law. And not only they will do the employment contracts and deal with all the regulatory filings, social pension benefits, and you name it, but they will also help us with paying this staff. And if you were to execute those individual payments from traditional banks, that would just be horrendous. That would take a lot of time. So having that end-to-end solution from contracting, paying our staff everywhere in the world is absolutely helpful. And I could not imagine a world where we would not have that infrastructure in place nowadays, because now I think I'm one person doing payroll for 20 countries, 500-600 staff globally. And that's quite productive. And that is thanks to having proper global infrastructure that we can rely on.
And Ian, what are some of the other frictions SMEs may face as they try to scale internationally, and how are you helping them address it?
So some of the biggest pain points that SMEs face are really a gap in them being served. If you look at large corporates, they have entities across markets. They likely have corporate setup with banking across multiple markets, and they're able to embed their financials closer, more locally to their supply chain, and also closer to their customers. And so we work with partners such as Sleek to enable their corporate setup more seamlessly. And where these SMEs struggle with is the setting up their financial infrastructure and also their financial operations. So it's not just limited to expensive fees or exchange rates. It's managing the operational complexity of multiple financial systems, right? Multiple banking, payment gateway solutions, whilst also understanding the complexities of compliance, taxation. We have tax treaties across multiple jurisdictions within the region, and our joint expertise together that both companies are able to provide is not just the education, but also a level of service to customers to ensure that they have a seamless experience when they're venturing to grow their businesses cross-border. Now, if you look at Southeast Asia, it has a very massive small business population with over 70 million MSMEs, right? And many of them face barriers to expansion, largely due to this financial infrastructure challenge. And they're caught in between these banks and also the digital first fintechs, right? And having native payment infrastructure and being able to provide payment services across the world to over 190 plus countries, that is the underlying foundation that we're able to provide to SMEs that want to transact globally.
Julien, has that been your experience that traditional banking and payment providers were maybe just a bit too complex and Payoneer really filled those gaps?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been our experience expanding. When you started a small business, and we cooperate about 5 to 10% of all companies that are created in Singapore every year, right? And a lot of those SMEs creating a relationship with traditional banks and traditional financial institutions because they don't have track records. They may have business plans that are not very mature as a banker would typically expect. And so that creates a lot of delays for them to go to market. They have the ideas, they are ready to sell, but they just have nowhere to get the money in from their client. So not only this complex, but the delay, sort of administrative process for opening a bank account, especially in multiple jurisdictions where you're not physically present, which a lot of banks will see with a higher risk profile, is typically super cumbersome. And we had a lot of clients that ended up folding their company because they could not get their payment or financial infrastructure sorted. As simple as that. And so that is a no-brainer issue when you are a big company, when you have good reputation, you have an existing relationship. When you are a newly formed business or a very tiny one, everything becomes very, very hard. Because also the traditional players will make you feel that they understand that you don't have massive asset under management to put with them. So they may not put you on a fast lane to onboard you just because they know there's not so much money to be made. And so having very agile, very nimble software first platforms that have much lower cost to serve those clients definitely helps being successful and getting really business as a founder.
What about geographical location? How has being headquartered in Singapore, Julien, enabled your expansion, Sleek's expansion?
Yeah, I think for us, starting with Singapore was the least resistant path. Obviously, that's the jurisdiction that is well understood. The law here is clear. Everything can be done digitally pretty much. So you don't have many things that are undocumented as opposed to, the further you go in Asia, the more difficulties you will find, right? So for us, starting with Singapore was definitely a must have. And that's why we've been quite successful with our offering of, formation is everyone wants to set up a company in Singapore because it's easy, it's cost effective to do so. The tax regime is stable and relatively friendly. We later expanded to UK, Australia, Hong Kong from Singapore.
Hold that thought, Julien. We're speaking with Julien Labruyere, CEO of Sleek, and also Ian from Payoneer about what could be the smooth ride to globalization that SMEs can have. More in a moment.
And now back to BT Podcasts, produced in collaboration with Payoneer.
Welcome back. I want to get Ian into the conversation now as well. There's a saying, talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. What is your interpretation of that, especially how that philosophy is applied to Southeast Asia?
From my role in leading partnerships across the region, I've seen that Southeast Asia specifically has a very incredible talent pool and really strong entrepreneurial spirit. Some of the most innovative SMEs globally. And through continually building a partnership model and also expansion of our partnership ecosystem and working together with companies such as Sleek, so we're not just providing the payment services, but we're also building a portfolio of ancillary advisory benefits, knowledge, and interconnectivity, right, to enable SMEs to venture into global markets. So big focus for my team and I has been building out partnerships with more companies, specifically targeting entrepreneurs who have the talent and the vision to expand internationally, but lack the tools to play at a global stage. So if you take selling to the US, for example, so we're a preferred payment service provider for numerous marketplaces and e-commerce marketplaces and so on. And we've been managing businesses that intend to sell to the US and to Europe. And within our partnership portfolio, it comprises many partners that provide advisory and also local expertise across most markets globally, right? So, for example, a talented graphic designer in the Philippines or a manufacturer in Vietnam might struggle to sell to the US and collect payments from clients. By providing a combination of not just our platform, but also a joint partnership offering, SMEs can hold payments and collect funds, reduce their costs in terms of transacting globally, but also they're able to get connected to partners and also business enablers that would help them expand their business internationally. So the opportunity really exists globally, and international buyers want services from businesses across the region. But the infrastructure to capture and convert that opportunity into sustainable growth has been fairly fragmented. And so that really speaks to the importance of building a partnership ecosystem, because it's really crucial that we provide not just our payment products or ancillary services, but also providing the know-how and the knowledge for businesses to venture and capturing that global market.
All right, Julien, time for your review of Payoneer, so to speak. How has it helped you grow faster or expand into new markets, etc., operate more smoothly? Do you like them?
Yeah, I love them. I think they are an essential piece of our back office. Obviously being able to attract talent, employ them, pay them timely, retain them is the core of any company, right? You don't have talent, you're not going to go anywhere. And so being able to contract and pay them as if they were next door in the office in Singapore, regardless of where they are in a remote location, I could not live without such a solution.
You reckon, Ian, that's the feedback you usually get from your users? Can't live without you. High praise.
We would love to think that across all customers. Yeah, I think the general consistent feedback that we get from partners is about how we're able to play a role in the transformation journey from a client's experience. Being able to plug in the gaps with a pretty diverse set of products and services. And also, I would say Payoneer, aside from our fundamental payment services that we provide, but also that human element and prioritizing service and having that white glove treatment is something that we prioritize as a company and what I think we were known for within this space. And helping SMBs achieve their global growth aspirations through providing a core set of services to focus on internationalization, especially what Julien mentioned, hiring internationally when you don't have an entity and you don't want to take the risk of setting up a corporate structure to hire in markets that you want to expand your business on, either from a cost center perspective or to get closer to your customers. That's really what we are trying to achieve from our company and also our partnership ecosystem objectives.
Earlier, Julien mentioned how geographical location has helped, and that being Singapore. What about for Payoneer? How does Singapore fit into your regional strategy? I mean, where are you investing in next, and how's that going to help SMEs go global?
So Singapore absolutely serves as a very critical hub for us and also a very relevant incorporation gateway in our regional strategy. It serves as a function as our partnership-driven growth objectives, right? And also of a strategic entry point for businesses expanding across the region and also into the region. So our team is headquartered here, primarily because Singapore offers that really good combination of regulatory sophistication, very good connectivity within the region, and also business ecosystem maturity and also friendly. And that helps us to really build and scale our partnerships to help with SME growth and expansion. Singapore is particularly powerful in our partnership strategy because of its ripple effect. We see businesses that incorporate here primarily because they have a regional expansion ambition from day one, and that makes them a very good candidate for our products and services in our global financial stack. So we're really trying to double down on this hub strategy by expanding our local team, deepening the regulatory partnerships that we have, and also using Singapore as a launching pad for our growth initiatives into next year.
Ian, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Howie.
Julien, it was a pleasure.
Likewise, thank you.
We were speaking with Julien Labruyere, who's the CEO of Sleek, and Ian Dorrity, Director of Affiliate and Partnership at Payoneer. This has been BT Podcast by the Business Times. I'm Howie Lim.
This episode of BT Podcasts was produced in collaboration with Payoneer.
Find more BT podcasts at businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is meant to provide general information only. SPH Media accepts no liability for loss arising from any reliance on the podcast or use of third parties' products and services. Please consult professional advisors for independent advice.